It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hello? Hello, Dimitri. Listen, I can't hear too well. Do you suppose you could turn the music down just a little? Oh, that's much better. Yeah. Yes. Fine, I can hear you now, Dimitri. Clear and plain and coming through fine. I'm coming through fine too, eh? Good, then... Well then, as you say, we're both coming through fine. Good. Well, it's good that you're fine, then, and I'm fine. I agree with you. It's great to be fine. Now then, Dimitri, you know how we've always talked about the possibility of something going wrong with the bomb. The bomb, Dimitri. The hydrogen bomb.
Welcome to Back to the Frame Rate, part of the Weston Media Podcast Network, a weekly podcast discussing movie news, reviews, and recommendations. We just heard a clip from Dr. Strangelove, a tie-in to this week's episode where we'll be reviewing Tetris and recommending some other Cold War thrillers. I'm Nathan Schur, and with me as always are Sam Cole and Ellie Escobar.
It's a pleasure to be here. Hello.
Hi. Sorry. Oh my God. Totally.
Welcome to the show, Ellie.
I'm here.
That's your cue to speak.
Okay.
Wake up, my co-hosts. All right. Well, here we are again. Hey, you know what? We are on episode 10. That is some major milestone. We have made
crazy.
Just as many episodes as there are Fast and Furious movies.
Oh my God.
That's true.
Do you remember how we started? Like, really bad.
And now we're just a little bit better than that.
Oh, no, we're getting really good at
That was
this.
back in January or February.
We're
No,
not
it
even,
was
we're not even
January. It was like
drinking.
the very... I'm drinking. See, I got my flask of water.
We started in February. Now it's April, and after that it'll be May.
That's right. We got I think we got a fun show tonight. We're going to be reviewing the new is it Apple TV or Apple Plus? Apple TV Plus original Tetris in a little bit. But before we get to that, we're going to just catch up with everyone to see what we've been doing the past week. We didn't do that last week. We kind of jumped right into what we've been watching. But I want to hear, last week, we've totally skipped over a very important thing with you, Ellie. You took a week off, and there was an important reason for that.
So I took a week off to do an intensive acting course with the one and only Larry Moss. And I was studying about 12 hours every day, preparing for my presentation, for my performance in his class. And I got to do a play called Orpheus Descending by Tennessee Williams. Dudes, what a challenge. It was a challenge. I learned a lot. And I kind of miss being there.
Was this
Am I freezing?
this was it. Was this like this wasn't like a solo like performance, right? You were performing with other actors. Or can you tell us a little bit about
Yes.
what it entailed, the whole process?
Well, no, it wasn't just me, but I did have a co-star.
Hmm.
Like there was another student with me, and basically the process started a month prior to the week I took off, just preparing for the play and learning the words, and it's basically just dissecting the play completely, understanding. But the hardest challenge for me was that there's a lot of phrases that didn't make sense to me because English is my second language. So a lot of the phrases I had to go to the internet and look up, go to the dictionary. I'm like, what does that mean? What is this? What is that? And one of the things with Larry is he's big in pronunciation, right? He's
Hmm.
enunciate. And it's one of the things that I've learned the most. And one of my biggest fears is that he was going to say, enunciate with your accent. You need to enunciate. And he never mentioned one word. You know why? Because I kept practicing enunciation for weeks before the play. It was like Peter Piper. What is one of those like tongue twisters too?
The tongue twisters, yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
And so
So
it
where does
was
this put you after this is all said and done? What have you learned from this? Like what's the next
so
step after this?
this whole intense week basically taught me what it takes to play with the bigger leaguers like
Hmm.
DiCaprio and Viola Davis, what they have to do to prepare. I had about 50 pages of work,
Wow.
50 pages of work that I had written about my character and the story. It's ridiculous. But you don't even think about it because you're in the moment learning and writing about your character and everything. And I actually put a stage in my house. I took the scene from the book and transformed my house into that. Um, I'm in a store back in the 1950s.
Oh, cool.
So I bought all these props and things like that from Amazon to turn my background into a store, a mercantile store for dry goods and things like that. I even got a phone from the 1950s because
Nice.
my scene
Wow.
my scene begins with me on the phone. I mean, it was so emotional. It was so emotional. The whole experience was almost spiritual. So for me after this it's just really putting into work everything that I've learned, using it to prepare for any auditions that I have lined up, or if I get cast in a role, to use that and put it into um, preparing for any role that I'm cast to or auditions. So
Well,
that's
that's
my
wonderful.
goal.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
both very happy
Thank you.
for you, and that's very exciting. I've never
Yeah.
taken. I took an acting class in college, and I wish I had done more with that because I think I. I'm not a trained actor, and I have done some acting on stage and in some film that I think I would have benefited from some more formal training because I do
Yeah,
have
I
an
think
interest in it.
a stage acting is so different from film acting. I feel it's more challenging. In fact, I do think it's more challenging. But I have to tell you, I'm always learning. So to tell you, this week, oh my god, like it never stops. I do another class, and in this class, I've been given a challenge. I have to.
Hmm.
I have to. I've been given a challenge to So I was paired up with two other students, and we had to write a script and film a short film, a 2-minute short film.
Oh, that sounds fun. That sounds cool, actually.
I never done anything like this. So we got together with my people. It turns out that none of them know how to write anything. So we're like, I don't know how to write. I don't know how to write. Do you know how to write? No, I don't know how to write. How am I going to write? So we're just stuck in like what? So I ended up writing the script. It's called The Night Creeper.
Ooh, I like the title. Does it star Jake Gyllenhaal? Just kidding.
Oh my God, Nightcrawler? Yeah, Nightcrawler, right?
Yeah.
So it's called
Sorry.
It's called. So guess what? You know how I like serial killer films?
Well, we know.
Yes. Well, it's sort of kind of about a kidnapper that's a serial killer.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool. So it can be creepy and were you guys shooting it like just in an alley at night by your home or something, or?
No, but so here's the challenge. We're all in different areas of the world.
Oh wow!
Wow!
Get some green screen going. Then it's
dude, I don't even know how we're gonna do this. Like, how do we do the background so it matches?
Well, if you want to insert two actors from different places, you can use Adobe Fusion or After Effects and insert them into the same visual effects shot. I'd be happy to talk about it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so that's
Very
my
cool.
challenge for this week. And it's due on the 10th of April. And just to finish up, let me tell you how my week went. I went to get my inspection sticker on Saturday. When they returned the card to me, they returned it with a sticker that says 1. And I'm thinking, like, 1, it's 3, it's March, it's April, it should be 4, right? No, the guy says, well, I can't give you a month of April sticker because you never got your sticker last year.
They do that now. They do that now. If you try to like sneak into the next month, if your inspection sticker like expired in the last month or two, they'll give you one for April, but they won't do it if it's expired a long time ago.
The inspection sticker, that's for the back right of the license plate, right? Where it's just like the year, like the month and the year. That's the inspection sticker we're talking about, right?
No, that's the registration.
Yeah.
Oh man, I should check on that.
Yeah.
Shit. Sorry.
The corner. Dude.
Damn it.
Dude, I thought the
I'm like
police
up to date on
stop
everything
you
else.
if it's expired.
Oh man.
I was like, wait, I never came last year. Yeah, so that's my week, my weekend.
I gotta check on that.
As Sam leaves the podcast and runs out to the
yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
No. All right. Okay. Well, thanks for sharing your week with us, Sally. That's
of course. Thank you for asking.
Sam, anything you want to share about your week, or?
I mean, there's a movie that I saw this week that I liked, but in terms of what I did, just sort of like tax preparation and like some organizational stuff. Yeah, I really got nothing. Like, I shot a new episode of Walks of World, my YouTube show, and the episode will come out well, but the filming of it was not particularly thrilling. But it went smoothly. So
excellent. All right. My week, just a quick smorgasbord of things that I did. I purchased half a cord of wood, which is always an exciting thing. For only $60. So
I thought you were going to say something else. I was like, "Woohoo! Can I have some?"
What does that do?
It means I just bought a whole bunch of wood for almost no money at all. So I feel like that's a small victory.
That is a victory.
It is.
Is that for chimney?
Yeah, so we can burn it in our fireplace or for campfires. So I'm just really excited. I feel good about that. I got enough wood to last me for a year or more. Who knows?
We know
the other thing I kind of did, which is kind of film related, is I think I've mentioned this on the show before. I got 2 kids, and they are two little mini actresses.
Oh.
I made a movie with one of them almost a year ago, but she's 11. Back then she was 10 when I made this movie. It was called The End Is Nigh, and that's streaming on YouTube. I'll drop that link in there again. But the other one is jealous that I made a movie with her older sister. And she's only 5. And she's like, Daddy, how come you made a movie with my sister but not with me? And I'm like, well, because I don't know why, but it's just because I did. And she's like, she wanted to make a movie as well. And she's 5 years old. So like, okay, we'll make one. So in the past month, we have been working on a script together. And we shot the first half of the movie in the past week.
Nice.
It's called The Lost Puppy. It's about our dog, Stella, that accidentally gets out of the house and gets lost. And my daughter is out looking for her all around the neighborhood. And we shot all the interiors this past week. So she's having a wonderful time. Well, actually, I can't say she's having a wonderful time. Filmmaking and actressing is hard work. She's discovering after about 8 minutes, she needs to take a break and eat candy. So it's not always cracked up to be, but she is having a wonderful time doing this. So I just wanted to share that. So look for The Lost Puppy coming to your local theater. Not. But coming to probably no theater, and it's probably never going to hit even YouTube, because I don't think this is something I even want to share.
I did enjoy The End Is Nigh. That was really good.
Yeah, well, that was a legitimate production. We put some money into that. This is honestly my 5-year-old with no production value, and me and a camera, and I don't even know if we have microphones necessarily going on, but she's having a wonderful time. She thinks she's a movie star. We actually did write this, and I'm in this, she's in this. My daughter, here's the other thing. My older daughter, who is the actress in End Is Nigh, is the director.
Oh, cool.
And I'm the camera operator. So we're all, it's a family adventure. Yeah.
Is she a kind director, or is she like a creative tyrant, basically? Or honestly, can you not diplomatically answer that question?
I really can't. But you know what's kind of fun, because I'm actually teaching her how to direct.
That's cool. That's very cool. Yeah.
So it is kind of cool. She's got some work cut out for her to learn how to direct. But anyways, it's been a fun experience. So that's what I've been doing this past week, and some fun family filmmaking. So yeah, let's get to what we've been watching this week. Who would like to?
By the way, Nathan, my first name is Stella. But just letting you know.
Okay, I'll keep you in mind for if you want.
Stella.
I'll jump in by saying that I saw. I did see a film this week. Honestly, the one movie I saw this week, but I did go to the theater and I saw Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Oh, cool!
It was enjoyable. First off, I have to say that I never played the game. Like, I missed that game. That was not a part of my childhood. So knowing nothing about it as a just like blank audience member coming in, it was a fun, impressive, like it's very light. It's not, like heavy or epic, like Lord of the Rings or something like that. But I found it, the cast is charming. There's a lot of humor. There were some like laugh out loud moments. It was a decent fantasy adventure film, like not amazing, but good. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the characters enough that if there was a sequel, I would definitely see it. I found it engaging. And I'll say one more thing about it. This gives nothing away. It's just kind of the tone of the movie. There's a scene where they're in a cave, this giant underground layer, and like you see this dragon's eyes come out of the darkness, and it's like a total Peter Jackson moment, and you think it's going to be serious and terrifying. And the dragon comes out of the cave, and it turns out that it's this like giant, rotund, obese dragon that can barely move and can't fly because it's like so fat. So it just rolls down the slope towards them like a bowling ball. And it was a really funny visual gag, and the movie is funny, full of crazy stuff like that. So I would solidly recommend. I would give it a B/B plus, but it was entertaining, and Hugh Grant as the villain was especially amusing to me. But that is basically the film I saw this week. I don't think I watched anything else, to be quite honest. Yeah.
Right.
Aside from Tetris, which was amazing, but we'll get to that later.
Right. And it did pretty good at the box office. I think I see it did 37 million. I don't know if that was above or below its expectations, but
It was slightly above expectations. It did slightly better than they thought. So it did not too bad. It was breezy. I enjoyed it.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
it took a big chunk out of John Wick Chapter 4, though. That took a kind of a nosedive. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's still, because John Wick still made like 29 million, so it was a dive. But it's like Dungeons and Dragons kind of bit into the same audience, I think, a little.
Yeah, they kind of cannibalize each other for sure. But very cool. I am hearing some good things about it, though, so it's kind of on my radar of things. If I can check out, I will.
Honestly, I would not have. I had no interest until I heard the buzz, and then Rotten Tomatoes is like 90%. Like, it's because of the positive buzz. That's the reason why I went, and I'm glad I did. But I was not I have not been anticipating or looking forward to this movie. I went to it on a whim, and it turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah, excellent.
Always a fan of Chris Pine too. He's, I wish they made the friggin' more Star Trek movies, but that's a whole other can of worms. So yeah.
Great. Ellie, anything you want to share?
I watched two films, Missing and 10 by 10.
Okay. Missing? Is it Missing?
Missing.
Is that the 2003 Missing? Tell me which Missing this is.
No, that's the 2023 that just came out. It's playing, I believe, in Apple TV and Prime. It's directed by Will Merrick and Nick Johnson.
I got all excited for a moment because I thought you were talking about the Ron Howard.
I'm thinking of Tommy Lee Jones, right? Wasn't that
yeah,
right?
2003, the Ron Howard movie, and I like that movie, The Missing.
The
Future
Missing.
review of The Missing, maybe one day.
Okay.
No,
Sorry, go ahead.
I think this guy did Search, something like that. Another movie.
Oh, Missing! I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I talked about this film early on. It's kind of a spiritual sequel to Searching.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Well,
I completely put this movie out of my mind. Yes, already.
I liked it.
That's how much of an impression it left on me. Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. My takeaway from this film, if anything, it's how anyone can find you anywhere in the world. Just based on Google and your history in Google. And oh my goodness, it's just basically a movie set on the screen, on the computer and telephone and iPhones and things like that, and cameras over the world.
Screen life is a
Screen
big
life.
genre, and this kind of goes back to, I think, films starting with like Unfriended, and I think the Unfriended movies were kind of like set the tone for these types of movies back like 10 years ago. I did like Did you see Searching?
I haven't.
I did.
Searching
I liked it.
Searching is fantastic, and that's John Cho in it.
It is.
These are also somehow connected in a very loose fashion, and they have not linked them together yet, and I'm wondering if they're going to at some point. And they're going to make a third one, they've already announced, that is in this world somehow. I don't know what they're going to call it, like Finding, or I don't know how they're going to do it. But they are brilliantly constructed how they do this, and I'm in awe of how
Mm.
they can make these movies in this fashion, all told on a screen using tablets and smart watches and phones. It is very cool how they do these movies. The I question the quality necessarily of the stories that are told in these. This one I thought was kind of inferior to Searching, but still, I praise them for what they still are able to do. So I'm not
Yeah,
begrudging them for
the
making
technical
these
part.
movies.
Yeah, the technical part for
Yeah.
me was pretty awesome to see all of that and how they put
Mhm.
that together, uh, and how this girl ends up calling the cops by just saying, Siri, call 911, and her phone is on her desk in her house, and she's in
Yeah.
another place. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. It was really nice. I really enjoyed it. And then I watched 10 by 10, and I don't know why I keep coming back to missing kidnapping, serial killers movies, but I just do. I
We
like that
know.
kind of. And 10 by 10 is a 2018 film, and Kelly Riley is in there. I've seen her before in other things, but basically, it's about a woman who used to be a nurse and killed this man's wife, and he basically kidnaps her and puts her in a 10 by 10 room because he wants her to confess that she killed his wife. And there's a fight, and yeah, it was entertaining. Nothing big about that film though.
Very good. All right, I'll share a little bit about what I've been watching. I'll keep it brief here. I was playing some catch up with this year's Oscar nominated films. I finally watched Empire of Light this past week. This is another 2022 drama about the power of cinema and how it just can save us all. Seems like we had a bunch of these in the last year. This was written and directed by Sam Mendes and stars Olivia Colman as the manager of a theater in the south coast of England in the early 80s. This story is really about her awakening as she strikes up an unlikely friendship with a new young employee who's played by Michael Ward. What I did love about this film is the actual theater itself. They actually used a location, this absolutely gorgeous historical relic of a venue called the Dreamland Cinema. It was originally built in 1923 and it's been closed for the past 15 years, unfortunately. The staging of the film is mostly in this location and just makes up a majority of the film, and it's just gorgeous, this venue. However, the film itself I found to be a mixed bag. Olivia Colman is giving her all in this film, but it falters, I think, with an unfocused story. It's just ping-ponging between this complicated relationship between Coleman's character and the character of Ward, the new employee, her mental health issues, which are treated very oddly in this film, and is set against the backdrop of these skinheads that are running rampant and spreading racism and anarchy in the city. Roger Deakins was nominated for cinematography in this film, and yeah, it's good, but it's nowhere near his best work.
I mean, I was just want to say I totally agree with you. I saw the film. I saw Empire of Light recently, so I'm kind of on the same page as you here. Yeah.
So Empire Light, it was okay. It was just okay, and it's streaming on HBO-MAX is where I saw it, and it's also on VOD. The other thing that I saw, and I think I mentioned this about a month or so ago, I have been slowly making my way through the Billy Wilder filmography. And it's kind of my own personal retrospective. And I just recently caught up with 1957's The Spirit of St. Louis. This is the film that depicts the epic crossing of the Atlantic by a single engine plane by Charles Lindbergh. I'm basically at the halfway point watching all of Wilder's films, and this one is by far probably encompasses the fewest Billy Wilder flourishes of all of his films. It's a very point A to point B story. Story structure without much of the quirkiness, humor, and kind of film noir flourishes that a lot of Billy Wilder films have. In fact, if I didn't know this was a Billy Wilder film, I never would have guessed it is one. All that aside, The Spirit of St. Louis stars Jimmy Stewart as Charles Lindbergh, and he's very charming in this film. Of course, he always is. But it's not until the second half of this film, when Lindbergh takes flight, that this film actually has any kind of tension in it. But overall, it's not one of my favorite Billy Wilder joints, but it's not terrible either. Jimmy Stewart is, he's always fun to watch, so it was okay. So that is available on VOD. And those are the two movies that I watched this week. So yeah. And I'm looking forward to the back half of Billy Wilder's catalog. And I'll keep you up to date with some of those highlights. So, all right. Are we ready to get to our review of Tetris?
Yes, indeed.
It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. I played for 5 minutes. I still see falling blocks in my dreams. It's poetry, art, and math all working in magical synchronicity. It's the perfect game. Tetris?
Tetris.
Tetris. Tetris.
Tetris. I don't get it.
It's a combination of tetra, Greek for four, and tennis.
Tennis?
The Russian inventor, he likes tennis.
Nasal, yeah. This game isn't just addictive. It stays with you. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Hank, only 10 other people in the world have seen what you're about to see. It's called the Game Boy.
Package it with Tetris.
All right, so we are here discussing Tetris, the new movie streaming on Apple TV Plus. How about Sam? I'm going to just throw it at you. What did you think of Tetris?
I liked the movie a lot, and I was surprised how much I liked it because I really wasn't sure what to expect. I knew nothing about like how the video game started. I had no idea about all the political drama and all that went on with it. And I must say, very like cynically when it opened, there's this kind of like animated style that instead of shooting exteriors of buildings, the movie opens and it says Las Vegas, and it's like cartoon imagery of Vegas, like video game imagery zooming in on the character. And my cynical first reaction to that was I thought it was like a cheap sort of budget saving technique. But then I saw that it was kind of woven into the style of the film. But I liked it. I mean, I thought like maybe the cinematics in some parts and was up and down, but because I was so intrigued by the story and all the dramatic like business negotiations and the double crossing and the Russian government and all that, having no idea about that part of history regarding that game, to me the movie was entertaining solely because it was informing me of all that in a very like fast-paced, generally pretty good movie. So I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I would strongly recommend it. As also a huge fan of Nintendo, it's like the Nintendo is referenced many times in the film. They go to their headquarters. I love behind the scenes stuff like that. I mean, I was a big fan of, has nothing to do with this film, but the Social Network about the creation of Facebook. And I like seeing the turmoil and the business negotiations behind things that we just accept as part of the culture. We all know Tetris. We all love it. Who knew, at least I didn't know, of the fight for its existence was so brutal that I sort of incorrectly assumed that things just come out of the ether, the ether. Like when I was a child, all my favorite movies like Indiana Jones, you just assumed they were just sort of like immaculately conceived somewhere and everything went perfectly. And that's why I love hearing nitty gritty difficulty behind the scenes stuff. So this movie felt kind of right up my alley, to be quite honest.
Excellent. All right. Ellie, what are your thoughts?
Well, this is not my thing, as you might know. My thing is,
Mhm.
okay, you already know what my thing is.
There
I
was no
watched the
serial
film.
killers. We know.
There was, there wasn't really too much violence in the film. I feel it wasn't, um, which is kind of nice, you know. I don't know much about video games. I'm not a video gamer. I played was Pac-Man and the pinball machines.
Well, that movie's coming soon. You know that.
I totally hear
Pinball.
that. See, and I'm a lot more of a gamer, so like it has that regardless of the quality of the movie, it had that in with me because of being a gamer, you know what I mean? So it's like I totally
Yeah.
understand. I can see why there'd be a distance. I get that. Yeah.
So I'm watching it with my kid, and I'm like, we both watched it, and he's a gamer. He's like full time gamer. Like he makes money from that, right? Um, and I was like, so I kept asking, so wait, what is Tetris again? But why did they do that? Yeah, but what about that? It's like, Mom, just watch the movie. And so, but I'm not sure I can follow this. But honestly, there's parts in the movie that I really liked. Uh, this I actually felt it reminded me a little bit of Fargo.
Really?
Wow.
That is
Okay.
not. I am interested in hearing this connection
Yeah.
because I like.
That's-
Wait. Both movies had snow in it at one
Okay.
point. There was a snowy day in retro, right?
I
Yeah.
also want to hear this connection because that's a leap. But go.
No, wait,
I'm all
wait,
ears,
is it-
Ellie.
Wait, it's
Do you
maybe
mean Fargo?
I'm in the wrong movie. No, maybe it's not Fargo. Maybe oh my god, no.
Fargo has. If you like serial killing, Fargo's got the murders that you want in it. Like that's your kind of movie. A lot of people get. One guy gets like killed in a wood chipper in that film. That's an Ellie movie right there.
It's not Fargo. No,
Not Fargo.
Yeah. Okay, I forgot the name. It's
Sam,
Wait,
come on,
wait,
say
wait,
it.
Affleck.
Two
Wait,
mules for
Ben
Sister
Affleck.
Sarah, right? Two mules.
Oh! You're talking about Argo.
All right, right.
Argo. Yes.
Yes,
Thank
I totally
you.
can see that.
That's-
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
so funny.
Fargo rhymes with Argo. No,
Good double feature.
I know you
Joe.
can't. We can't see video here, but when you said Fargo by accident, the look on Nathan's face, he was like, "What the hell? Like, what is that all about?" No, but Argo. That actually, I 100% see the connection to Argo. Both political situations. I know also. I can tell you another reason why it would remind you of Argo, but that goes into spoiler territories because all I'll say for now is that the two movies have similar climaxes.
Yeah. So you
in
got
terms of
me, right?
airport stuff.
Yeah.
I totally get you
Yeah.
there, like 1,000%. Yeah.
And
Like,
there are
structurally,
parts- and
there's
I'm saying
structural
this-
similarities. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. But I thought I enjoyed it, and if you're a gamer and you like this kind of stuff, you're gonna love it. You're gonna enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my
Um,
2 cents.
Okay. Well, I have some thoughts on this. So, full disclosure, I watched this film. Okay, I think Saturday, so a few nights ago, and it was giving me a headache for the following reasons:
Interesting. Huh.
Elord, Mirrorsoft, Andromeda, Bulletproof, PC rights, video game rights, arcade rights, handheld rights. The terminology in this film that the filmmakers expect us to simply grasp, oftentimes spoken in foreign languages, I thought was kind of a big ask. And I'm thinking to myself, why do I care about any of this? We've got our protagonist, Hank Rogers, our hero, a man who allegedly risked everything, his career, his marriage, his life, to secure the rights to a video game. And even though he's not American, he's the representation of the Western American-esque capitalist cowboy. But I think it has to be noted that right at the beginning of the movie, it states, as many movies do, based on a true story. So like I said, I watched this movie a few nights ago, and I actually watched this with my wife, who I think got a lot more out of this, and she actually kind of has a bit more of a legal background than I did. She took law. She didn't go to law school, but she took classes and understood everything immediately that was happening in this movie. And I was scratching my head through a lot of what was going on here. And I don't know, maybe I was too tired watching this, but because there was just so much I felt was being thrown at me. I was struggling. I was struggling. So guess what I did? I watched this movie a second time because I had to. I was that confused, and I got so much more out of this the second time. Sam, you had no problem with this. I don't know.
I had. See, it's interesting because I did have no problem with it. For me, I thought it presented the kind of the information like fairly clearly, but it was also, I kind of liked all the sort of back and forth sort of like.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details. Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Vicious attempts at ownership and distribution and all that stuff. And for me, what I liked about it was the movie was presenting that like authentic business world in the way that sort of like the social network portrays like the tech world, or like Wall Street portrays Wall Street. And so for me, I just was like, I just was on board. Like I absorbed it right away. And I was like, oh man, especially around like without getting into it, when things were going well for Hank Rogers, and all of a sudden they didn't go well, I was like really invested. I was like, oh my God, how's he going to get out of this deal? Like the movie hooked me in a way that I was not expecting it. Like I was not expecting it to work the way it did at me, but I totally hear your point, because it's storytelling style. It just throws the company names, and it also doesn't help that all the exterior buildings shots are the same visual effect, you know,
they're all bunker style brick. Concrete building. Well, anyways, so we talked about
I don't know if I like to live in Russia, by the way.
Oh no, this does not paint Russia in the 80s as a place you want to be. Well, we talk about a decent amount in this podcast, you know, when it's not working or when it's consistent. But, you know, I feel the tone in this film was very odd. The film is essentially a drama about contracts and rights acquisitions, but it also wants to be a spy thriller, complete with car chases and KGB agents threatening our hero and his family. The movie works so hard to make the audience aware that danger lurks around every corner for Hank. And it was a little bit much for me. And I really question how much of all this is authentic. And the filmmakers are working really hard to create that tension. But I've done some more reading and research on this, and it's really clear that, and the filmmakers have already admitted this, so much of this movie is embellished to the nth degree. And in the end, after the second viewing, I will admit I was entertained, and I had a much better time watching this, knowing who the players were in this. But so much of this is fabricated, and that's why I kind of have mixed feelings about all of this. That said, there are many moments that I can't deny were a lot of fun in this film. I thought Taron Egerton was very charming and charismatic as Hank Rogers, albeit, as Alexi's wife put it, dumb but honest. I thought was a really fun moment, which I think encapsulates everything that he does in this. He's really good in this. His cavalier, can-do attitude brought a lot of life and energy into what could have been a very, very tedious plot. And what a great mustache he is sporting in this movie. I like that a lot. I have to say that.
He did a great job, I thought. Yeah,
he did, and an awesome 80s soundtrack in this movie. So that big thumbs up for that as well. So that's all I'm going to say about my spoiler-free comments on this. We can, if anyone else has anything else to say, otherwise we can get to spoilers.
What you were saying, Ellie, about how it reminds you about Argo, just in terms of like style. There was that whole like they're escaping Russia at the end. They're going to the airport. They're being pursued right up till the moment they got on the plane. It was very close to that.
It's very close to that.
For me, it's so close to that. And like Nathan, I totally hear what you're saying about them trying to like embellish it and make it a bit more of a spy thriller. That definitely did feel a bit tacked on to me in some scenes more than others. I liked the straight up like shouting in boardrooms and like around tables and trying to get people to sign contracts. Yeah. That to me is real. But the car chases were like they were trying to make the movie like sexier, quote unquote. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they had it. The only thing is in the car chase towards the end, the cars kind of get pixelated like a video game, and they're doing this effect. And stylistically, I was thinking, why is this necessary? And the only thing I could come up with, again, a cynical viewpoint, was that the cars would get special effecty when they would go do like hairpin turns. So I feel like the visual effects on that car chase was almost like a cop out, and maybe made it easier than filming some actual vehicular. Even though they did really film a car chase, but it just stylistically seemed weird to me. And there was one shot of all the tanks, like in Russia, all the tanks parading down the street. It was a good shot, like conceptually, frame wise, but it was like pretty obviously CGI. It didn't bother me that much, but I was like, ooh, this looks a little like this could be rendered more or something. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it was clear that they did this on a relatively low budget.
Yeah.
And I mean, listen, it's an Apple Plus original movie. They were not going to spend $50 million on this, and it shows. And it's about the story. So I don't have any problems with any of those things. I mean, the whole pixelated car chase I thought was kind of cheesy. I didn't think it was necessary. It didn't. I cracked a smile for a moment, but I was like, I agree with you. Is this really necessary? I didn't think
the
it was.
spy kiss
And
was
again,
cheesy.
The what was?
The spy, the Russian spy there, when she kissed him in the hotel.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that felt like such a movie trope where like she's the translator, but she's really KGB. And then they take a picture of it and they're trying to blackmail him. There was a lot of that, like that felt kind of like an empty. I don't know if it wasn't really an empty threat, but there was a lot of the filmmakers are trying to create a lot of tension and danger that really didn't feel like there was that much. Maybe
and it's
there.
weird because it still had like an $80 million budget. Like it wasn't cheap.
Was
it was 80.
It was $80 million, this movie?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was that high.
Yeah. I mean, they had like, because they had that, they had effects and graphics and stuff like that. But I just felt the stylistic choices were like covering up missing shots. It's just that, but I feel like I use the word cynical, but that's just because like that was where my brain went right away. But that could just be me,
I'm surprised this is an $80 million movie for what is basically a film shot in rooms.
That's what. Yeah, I mean, it's Taron Egerton, the film, which has an impressive 80 million budget, takes place. Yeah, it's 80 million. Crazy, huh?
Yeah,
80 million for that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, but
there's also like VFX in it too. I mean, that can drive up costs and stuff.
Yeah, but that seems like double what this movie should be. Still, anyways,
listen,
especially
you can have a sexy.
Anyways,
So you can have a sexy car chase. What is it? Car chase?
it wasn't that big a car chase. That's the thing.
No,
It was.
and you can have a sexy scene like that with an orange car. It's not sexy. Sorry, not like John Wick.
How much was John Wick's budget?
100 million.
And this was 80.
Yeah, and but it makes sense because John Wick's budget is because John Wick's budget is all, it's like the choreography of the, like, I can see them being similar in cost because a lot of the things with the Wick budget is like the way it looks, but if you think about it, a lot of it is interior built sets with like fight choreography. You know, like
okay, we're not gonna compare John Wick 4 to Tetris. But anyways, so there was, getting back to the story here, there was one other thing that I think that this movie could have done more to that I think would have helped it. There's one of the central relationships in this story is the relationship between Hank and Alexei, which is they're trying to establish them as this a bubbling friendship, or like a bromance, not really bromance, but what am I trying to say? But like basically, he's the Westerner coming over. He is a Russian computer programmer that's living in this country. He can't profit off of his invention, and he can't bring him into his home because he could be arrested for that. And they want it to seem like there's this friendship that's growing between them. I never really felt that there was enough done in this movie to, or maybe enough scenes to really show that there was the growing friendship. There was him inviting him to his home. Then they went out to the club later on, but I felt like there wasn't enough connection really established for them that I felt satisfied with in the storytelling. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree with that. And a lot of this movie is banking on their friendship, that he feels betrayed when Alexei seems to not want to associate with Hank anymore. And I didn't really feel that much about their friendship in this movie. I don't know.
I could see that. I mean, it could have been embellished more. I did like it when he came to his rescue at the end in the car and gave him to the ride to the airport. I thought that was very like crowd pleasing.
Yeah,
I mean, there could be more to it, but I mean, it might not have been embellished enough. But I was able to buy it enough where I was like, at least it seemed to be like, functioning. But I know what you're saying.
I didn't feel a bond that I think that they felt the audience was going to feel, but that's just me. I don't know.
I felt more of the bond of like capitalism, like extracting a great video game that was like frozen by the communist world. So for me, it was, that's where the emotion came in, I guess. But I know, yeah.
I didn't.
Ellie, what were
I
you going to
didn't
say?
get. I felt I felt that there was a lack of development in all the characters in that film, a lack of development of the story. I get it. They're trying to get the rights of the game. But there's so many different characters going on, and it went from one shot to another, to another, to another. And it's like, who's who?
There were a lot, and it was hard to give everybody the due justice. I do like what they did with Toby Jones's character, where he was playing Robert Stein. I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah, he was really good. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
he was one of the every scene he is in, he steals. And when he wails on somebody in this movie. I've never seen Toby Jones go ballistic on somebody in a movie, and that made my heart glow seeing him actually attack somebody in a movie.
Who's the actor that played the spoiled son? I thought he was really good.
I forget the
He
actor's
was such a
name,
jerk. Yeah.
but Maxwell. That was Kevin Maxwell. I forget the actor that plays Kevin Maxwell. You know what? Speaking of the guy that plays Robert Maxwell, who was a notorious figure, a
What a
real
crook.
guy. The actor that Crook, the actor who plays him was it Alum? What's his first name? I thought they did an absolute terrible makeup job on him, and that took me out of the scenes that he was in. I don't, most he was a notorious crook, but most people when they don't even necessarily remember what he looks like. They didn't need to. I feel like personally, they didn't need to do this crazy prosthetic job on that actor portraying Robert Maxwell. And I thought he looked like they had this awful caked on makeup job on him. I really thought it was not a very well done thing they did. So I don't know. It took me out of those scenes because it looked so obvious that it was prosthetics and makeup.
I could see that. Yeah.
I also didn't like the wardrobe. I didn't see 80s wardrobe.
Yeah, well, I mean, it didn't go for. I mean, 1988 was a couple years, I think, after a lot of the flamboyant 80s wardrobe.
I think that I liked this movie better than both of you guys. I think that's fair to say. Yeah.
I know you
It's
did.
very interesting, fascinating.
I think so.
I was not expecting
yeah.
it because last week I was like, "Oh man, the Tetris movie, that's going to be boring," and then I really liked it, and I liked the game too. I don't know why I think that. Maybe I was just being lazy, but yeah.
Roger Allam was the actor that played Robert Maxwell. Yeah. I'm trying to think of any other. And I just want to highlight, I did really love the nightclub scene where they're rocking out to the final countdown.
Oh, that was great.
Great moment in the movie. Yeah, that was a lot of fun too. I don't really have anything else about this. This was I thought this was okay. Sounds like Sam, you had a really good time with this. Ellie, sounds like it wasn't necessarily your thing. But this was
I liked it. I wasn't like blown away. I was a lot more engaging to me than I thought. I had a different idea in my head of what I thought it was going to be like, and it was actually I thought it was going to be more like documentaries in style, but it was this more like souped up kind of fun ensemble cast business thriller.
Yeah.
Where flying back and forth to Russia, planes, contracts, people yelling at each other, my kind of people,
Yeah.
But it wasn't even thriller. It wasn't even that thrillery. It wasn't that.
No,
very
it wasn't. But it was like the thing is, but it's operating on a premise that if you love Tetris and you're blown away by it, the concept of like this is how Tetris came to be. It was more the hook to me was better than the filmmaking, but I was still hooked by it. I was like, well, I liked the story, so yeah, I know, but yeah.
So I think that concludes our discussion.
It was more like, okay, listen, this is what it was for me. I put it, it started, it ended, it's gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
I don't remember it.
But it was fun talking about it with both of you. So
that's how I felt about the movie Phantom Thread. But anyway, yeah.
Let's move on. Hey, so last week I made the announcement that we're gonna be reviewing Always, which is the movie that I decided that we're gonna watch as punishment for both of you losing the Oscar contest. But we decided to expand it to a Steven Spielberg retrospective. Ta-da! Okay. Big theatrics. Well, anyways, so we were talking before the show. This is actually pretty exciting because what we're going to do is we're going to end up reviewing and discussing 5 Steven Spielberg movies this year. I don't know exactly what the schedule is going to be, but we're going to be doing 5 Steven Spielberg movies, but we're not going to be going for the low-hanging fruit, the big obvious ones. We're not going to be reviewing Jaws or Raiders of the Lost Ark. We're going to be trying to review some of his, just like we're going to be reviewing Always. We're going to be kind of going for possibly the ones that are a little less thought of, ones that you don't necessarily think of as the go-to Steven Spielberg films. So the ones that we are going to be reviewing this year are in no particular order because I just wrote them down this way. We're going to do Always, but we're also going to be discussing Empire of the Sun from 1987. We're going to be doing Duel from 1971, Amistad from 1997, and War of the Worlds from 2005. I think this is an awesome list. And
It's a great list.
I think I've never seen Empire of the Sun. I'm ashamed to say that's on my pile of shame. And these other ones I have only seen one other time. I've seen Always many times. That was my pick. But I'm very excited, and I'm glad that we're all going to be doing this. So what do you guys think of this Steven Spielberg retrospective this year?
I'm excited. I think it's a good it's a good mix because it's across the gamut and it's different decades. And I saw Empire of the Sun in the theater as a little kid in 1987. So it's definitely memories there, but yeah, good ones. I like that. I like the variety on those titles.
Me too.
And I've seen every single Spielberg movie, so for me, this is like I'm a kid in a candy store getting to talk about it because it's my favorite director. So
how can you not like Spielberg though? I mean, I love it. I'm in for it, and I love anything Spielberg as well. And some of them I haven't even seen myself. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I haven't seen Amistad since it was in the theater, 25 years ago. So I'm really excited to see that, to revisit that.
I know I'm going to cry when I see Amistad again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's intense for sure. Yeah.
And I remember I was living in Boston when they were casting for that. I remember. And I knew people that were desperately trying to get. I actually think I sent in a letter or a fax trying to get a job on that movie back then.
That's so awesome. That's Amistad is my one.
This is where projects come to life. Our showrooms are designed to inspire with the latest products from top brands, curated in an inviting, hands-on environment, and a team of industry experts to support your project. We'll be there to make sure everything goes as planned, from product selection to delivery coordination. At Ferguson Bath, Kitchen, and Lighting Gallery, your project is our priority.
Schedule your showroom consultation and see more from brands like Jen Air at build.com/Ferguson.
This is where projects come to life. Our showrooms are designed to inspire with the latest products from top brands, curated in an inviting, hands-on environment, and a team of industry experts to support your project. We'll be there to make sure everything goes as planned, from product selection to delivery coordination. At Ferguson Bath, Kitchen, and Lighting Gallery, your project is our priority.
Schedule your showroom consultation and see more from brands like Monogram at build.com/Ferguson.
Steven Spielberg signed autograph story where he was filming in the State House in Providence, Rhode Island, and there was security and all these people were like waiting outside, but the doors to the building were open. And so my friends and I just like innocently walked in. We went up the steps, went around the corner, and like Spielberg and his production team were just coming around the corner, like discussing their day and talking shots. And my friends ran away out of terror, and I was just standing there in the middle of the hall, like dumbstruck. And Spielberg was just talking to other people, and I had a bank receipt, or like the back of a check or something that I was holding out to get an autograph on because I had no piece of paper. And he was carrying on his conversation with his production team, went through it, saw me, smiled, signed the autograph, then kept on walking and like talking to his team, and that was it. But that was I still have it framed, you know.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's my 16, those good times. Yeah.
So I think what we're going to be doing is our first movie will be in 2 weeks from now.
I do have to say something, Sam.
Yeah.
I did have a dream. I did have a dream where I'm working with Steven Spielberg. How you like them apples?
Oh, that's awesome. Was it a good dream?
Yes, I'm working with him on set.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was kind and professional as usual.
So our first movie of this Steven Spielberg retrospective will be in 2 weeks from now. We're going to be reviewing and discussing Always from 1989. So we encourage our listeners to follow along with us. Find Always. I think it is on VOD, and join us on our discussion and review of Always coming up in a couple weeks. All right. All right, let's move on to our recommendation shelf.
Sir,
What?
are either one of these any good?
I don't watch movies.
Well, have you heard anything about either one of them?
I find it's best to stay out of other people's affairs.
You mean you haven't heard anybody say anything about either one of these?
Nope.
So, this is our recommendation shelf where we will be recommending Cold War thrillers. Tie into this week's episode. Did everybody do their homework? We got some good recommendations. All right. Who would like to go first?
I will start with it's a 2001 film directed by Tony Scott called Spy Game, starring Brad Pitt and Robert Redford. And it's a Cold War thriller in a sense because a lot of it takes place during the Cold War. But I highly, highly recommend this movie. I like it a lot. I think the storytelling is good, and I think it actually is one of those instances where Tony Scott's directing style that some people kind of find flashy and visual really works well for this movie. I mean, I've always liked him. He was really good with the first Top Gun and a lot of different collaborations with Denzel Washington. But in a nutshell, to put it really simply, Brad Pitt is a spy that gets into trouble, and he is in a Chinese prison, and it is Robert Redford's last day of work at the CIA in 1991, and the whole movie is told through flashbacks of his relationship with Brad Pitt, but it also focuses on him in the CIA using every trick in the book in the office on his last day of work to try to find a way to remotely get Brad Pitt out of jail without his like superiors finding out. So it's just basically like CIA tactics, suspense, plot oriented stuff like that. A lot of skills that are in that movie I actually learned and use them myself sometimes in life, and they actually work. So there's some good like spy stuff in the movie. I just enjoy it. I enjoy the pacing, and it's like a pseudo Cold War thriller. I mean, but all around good movie. Spy Game, directed by Tony Scott, 2001.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you picked this because if you didn't, I was, because this was I almost did this one, and I
love that movie.
I changed it about 2 days ago, but I had Spy Game as my pick until 2 days ago. But yes, wonderful pick, and I think it's available on VOD, but it's also streaming on Peacock right now as well. So yeah. So wonderful, awesome movie. Also underrated. Not enough people talk about Spy Game.
It is underrated. I really, really like it because it's the story is so focused and specific, and Tony Scott, it just gels with everything about the movie like fires on all thrusters for me personally.
Yep. Wonderful. Ellie, what do you got?
So for me, I watch Wargames, 1983, I think, is it?
Love that movie.
1983 Wargames.
Yes.
I mean, I watched it several years back, but I love this film. I love watching 80s films, period. From time to time, I will spend a weekend, and I'll call it my 80s weekend, where all I watch is 80s films. Okay? And Wargame, Matthew Broderick is one of my favorite actors since, let's check it out, baby. Check it out. What's that name of the movie?
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Ferris Bueller Days Off. Oh, my goodness. I had a major crush on Matthew Broderick growing up, and anything that he did, I'd be like glued to the tube. And I love World Wars because, see, the thing about World War that was scary for me, I love the whole scenario about, how kids used to go out in their bikes and just have fun outside, and, back in the day. And when I started, even in high school, we had those big, ugly computers with green letters. And
Oh yeah,
what's
yep,
scary about
yep.
this movie is that, but what's scary about this movie, even then and even now, is that to leave an AI the responsibility to manage political or war weapons is scary to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because at any given point, they can have a mind of their own and start a whole nuclear war, and
Oh
which
yeah,
is what
and like
happened in War
War
Games,
Games.
right?
War Games is like, it's a 1983 movie and it's topical now, and it still plays like it. It's because the technology is older. The story is so good that it doesn't. The message is so clear in that movie. Like, it's so entertaining. It's so
Yeah, it was so of the time then, and it's of the time now, because at any given point we could have that and not necessarily be a human thing, but just an AI decides to just do it.
It's like, and it's so scary. And like, my favorite line in that movie, it's an actor that plays a general, like one of the generals in the command center, and I can't remember the actor's name at the moment, but it's towards the end of the film, and they're like desperately trying to shut down the main computer. They're like, is there anything we could do to stop it? And the general's like, hell, I'd piss on a spark plug if I think it could help. I was like, yes, I love that.
I know what actor you're talking about,
Yeah.
and he's great. And I can't think of his name.
Perfect.
I don't know his name, but
Hello, General Barringer. Stephen Falcon.
Mr. Falcon, you picked a hell of a day for a visit.
General, what you see on these screens up here is a fantasy, a computer-enhanced hallucination. Those blips are not real missiles, they're phantoms.
Jack, there's nothing to indicate a simulation at all. Everything's working perfectly.
But does it make any sense?
Does what make any sense?
That.
Look, I don't have time for a conversation right now.
General, are you prepared to destroy the enemy?
You betcha.
Do you think they know that?
I believe we've made that clear enough.
Then don't. Tell the president to ride out the attack.
Sir, they need a decision.
General, do you really believe that the enemy would attack without provocation, using so many missiles, bombers, and subs, so that we would have no choice but to totally annihilate them?
yeah, it's a fun movie to watch. Like, I if you have not watched this film, go for it. It's so nostalgic. If you watch this film now,
it's so awesome.
It's gonna be so nostalgic of the 80s, and just
It is, and it even has like even its soundtrack. Like, it has a folksy like harmonica tune, and like its main theme when they go to the island and they visit the professor and they like watch the little movie about dinosaurs. Like, the movie just it's like 80s in the best possible way. That was a good summer.
Absolutely. And
War Games, Return of the Jedi, like, just good movies out all at the same time.
What?
Ronald Reagan really liked War Games. He had it screened at the White House, and he was like, "Can that happen? We should look into this."
That's a great pick, Ellie. Well, I wish I had a movie that had the word game or games in it to stick with the theme, but I don't. But my recommendation for this week is Firefox. This is a film from Clint Eastwood, starring Clint Eastwood. It came out in 1982. In my opinion, it is one of the ultimate U.S.-Russia Cold War spy films. It's got a very simple plot. It's got Clint Eastwood as Mitchell Gant, former Vietnam vet, who is assigned to infiltrate Russian soil and steal a highly advanced fighter jet, which is capable of hypersonic flight, basically invisible radar. And actually has the ability to, almost like mind control. The pilot can fly the plane using his mind, which was a really interesting concept. fire missiles and do some certain things just thinking about it. Eastwood has some allies working undercover in Russia to aid him on his mission. This film has so many great moments of legitimate tension, and you really get a real sense of the stakes in this film. It's what I really love about Firefox. It came out in the early 80s when the tensions between the US and Russia were at an all-time high. The film pulls no punches with this. The film, it's rather long, and it's definitely a slow burn, but it always is ratcheting up the tension throughout. Plus, it has this incredible finale with the fighter jets that is only matched by Top Gun by 1980 standards. And I might add that it includes the great line of dialogue spoken by a KGB agent that me and my friends still to this day go back and forth with this line as your papers, they're not in order, which I just love saying.
I really, really want to see that. Like, I'm in the same way that you recommended Fall, and I watched it. And I'm going to watch this because I have not seen it, Nathan. But I know the cover of that movie well because the VHS of that film was at the video store that I went to as a kid over the years. So I can see Clint Eastwood's like face and the plane and the pilots.
Got the black leather suit on. He's got the helmet on his side. He's badass in it, and he speaks almost as little as John Wick does in the fourth movie, and it's such an intense performance. I highly recommend this. You can get it. You can get it on VOD.
I've never seen it.
But you can take advantage of your free Hoopla account that most people have with your public library subscription, if you can get it there for free. So, Firefox. This was probably the first Clint Eastwood movie that I watched growing up. Came out in '82, and it's always stuck with me. I don't know why, at such a young age, this was the movie that is the Clint Eastwood movie that this and probably Escape from Alcatraz were the two movies that I grew up with as a Clint Eastwood fan. So it's funny that these are the ones that I most associate with him as a young boy. But I love this. These are the two flying plane movies that I love. This and Blue Thunder, I think, I love this. I love this movie so much.
Speaking of John Wick, Keanu Reeves having very few words in the movie, I read this article this week.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Keanu Reeves made $40,000 per word in John Wick 4, which is amazing.
Yep.
So he's like, I feel sad. That's like a ton of money right there. Like, that's amazing. I wish I had that. Yeah.
All right. Those are
my very first movie, Nathan, with Clint Eastwood when I was young was The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't catch up to the Man with No Name trilogy until I was much older, but I love those.
And then two mules for Sister Sarah too.
Yeah, we're gonna review that. We're reviewing that. You know we are.
I know.
I just think of Will Ferrell was imitating the guy James Lipton. And whenever you say 2 mules for Sister Sarah, he's like, and the next film, 2 mules for Sister Sarah. It's a Saturday Night Live thing, and anytime you say that movie, I think about that sketch.
All right, so before we wrap up, I'm just going to mention a couple of the upcoming releases coming out in the next week. We've got Air, Courting a Legend. I think it's just been abbreviated to Air now. This is the new film from director Ben Affleck. I'm hearing some really good things about this. This is the bio sports drama, not about Michael Jordan, but about his shoes. Specifically how Nike created the shoe line known as Air Jordan. It stars Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Jason Bateman, Marlon Wayans, Chris Tucker, Viola Davis, and Chris Messina. Also out in wide release is the Super Mario Brothers movie. This is an animated feature from the directing duo of Aaron Harvath and Michael Jelenic. This is Illumination Studios, the same company that has done the Despicable Me, Minions films, Sing, Secret Life of Pets films, all very successful franchises. This film has a stacked cast with Chris Pratt as Mario, Anya Taylor-Joy, Charlie Day, Jack Black. Keegan-Michael Key, Seth Rogen, among others. So those are the films that are hitting wide release this weekend.
So Air is a theatrical release.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. I did not know that. I thought it was streaming. I would go to the theater for that film for sure.
Yeah. Both of those I'm really intrigued by. I'm hearing great things about Air. I've been listening to some interviews on it. It sounds like it's going to be really, really good. But we are going to be reviewing the Super Mario Brothers movie next week, which I'm looking forward to. My kids are looking forward to. I'm actually going to see it in 4DX.
Whoa!
I know. So I'll have to share with you not just about the movie, but about what it's going to be like to be sprayed in the face with all the smells and the sprays and the moving chairs and all that. It's going to be an experience.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm going to be in the land of, I don't know, what land is Mario in? I don't know.
The Mushroom Kingdom.
The Mushroom Kingdom. So all the smells will be in my face.
Mushrooms are good for you.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna come out feeling all woozy and All right, so that is our show. I want to congratulate us all on our 10th episode.
Yes.
Woohoo!
Unfortunately, the 10th Star Trek film is Star Trek Nemesis, which was not good. But our episode 10 is better than the 10th Star Trek film.
Right.
You are my nemesis, Sam.
I'm everyone's nemesis now.
Back to the Frame Rate is part of the Weston Media Podcast Network. You know what would be great? Go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and review. It may seem significant, but they do help raise the profile of our podcast and allow others to find our show. We thank you in advance. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Back to the Frame Rate and on Twitter at Back Frame Rate. We need a better handle. I hear
we need a better handle.
I hear we may be getting a TikTok as well. Any news on that?
One quick comment.
It's
Apologies
coming.
for
It's
not
coming.
having time for Matt Damon tonight.
Okay. Someday we might get a TikTok. Who knows? You can find past episodes of the show and other podcasts from the Weston Media Podcast Network on our website, and I'll be dropping the link in the show notes. So look there. Until next week, everyone. Goodbye.
I want you to know it's over.
Well, bye.
This is where projects come to life. Our showrooms are designed to inspire with the latest products from top brands, curated in an inviting, hands-on environment, and a team of industry experts to support your project. We'll be there to make sure everything goes as planned, from product selection to delivery coordination. At Ferguson Bath, Kitchen, and Lighting Gallery, your project is our priority.
Schedule your showroom consultation and see more from brands like Monogram at build.com/Ferguson.
Prescription products require completion of an online medication consultation with an independent healthcare provider through the LifeMD platform and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Individual results may vary. Additional restrictions apply. Read all warnings before using GLP-1s. Side effects may include a risk of thyroid C-cell tumors. Do not use GLP-1s if you or your family have a history of thyroid cancer.
If you've struggled for years to lose weight and have given up hope, did you know you can now access GLP-1 prescription medications at TryLifeMD.com? We're now offering eligible patients online access to GLP-1s, the breakthrough prescription medication that can help you lose body fat and weight. Listen to what people are saying.
It's fun to put on jeans that you couldn't get into 6 months ago.
Every morning, I look forward to getting on the scale.
For anybody who's struggling with their weight, it's a godsend.
And here's the best part. Your insurance may cover 100% of the cost of your medication. So go to TryLifeMD.com to have your eligibility checked right now. Get started today at TryLifeMD.com. That's TryLifeMD.com.